What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Seventh Floor podcast, where we review TVs and movie things on this channel, guys. Thank you so much for joining us as we review the series finale of Stranger Things 5, the episode called The Right Side Up, guys. And in this episode, let's break it down right here. The epic series finale, the Hawkins crew launches their final assault on Vecna and the forces of the Upside Down, as revealed as a wormhole connecting Earth to the Dark Realm called the Abyss. 11, joined by Callie, or Number 8, and Max, is in Vecna's mindscape. They team up with the group on the ground for the show's biggest battle ever. They confront a massive awakened mind flayer who kind of looks like a spider and ultimately defeat Vecna, with Joyce delivering the final blow with her axe. A bomb destroys the Upside Down, closing the gate forever. Callie dies in the fight as well, and 11 appears to sacrifice herself to end the cycle so nobody reduplicates Henry and all the experiments from Papa. An 18-month epilogue shows the survivors moving on, graduations, new beginnings, Hopper proposing to Joyce, and the one last Dungeons & Dragons game where Mike shares a hopeful theory that 11 faked her death with Callie's help and is alive somewhere peaceful by some village near a waterfall. The series ends ambiguously on 11's fate. Bittersweet closure with friendships enduring and a lot of tears, you guys. And we're going to be discussing some key points, and we're just going to have an open discussion on 10 years of a basically cultural phenomenon, in my opinion. When this thing first started, my daughter was 2. I'm a big fan of the 80s. I grew up in the 80s, so I resonate a lot with what was going on with these kids. And I can't wait to get into this discussion with everybody on the crew. And I'm going to bring everyone in, besides the fact we have Biggest Bro and D here from True Media. Let me get everyone else in the building really quick. What is up, guys? We have got Metabeast, OMI-Juan, or should I say Rogue One, Slider2333, as well as the Biggest Bro joining us, and we have Buddy as well. And we just lost Metabeast, but that's okay. He will be back. He's like 11. He vanishes and comes back. So
I believe.
I believe.
But guys, we are here to talk about basically a very generational show, a show that's been around for a long time, a show that's really, we've watched these kids grow up. We've watched everyone around this show grow up. This is a part of my life. My daughter's a big fan. I've thrown a Stranger Things birthday party before. This is a cultural phenomenon, guys. Kind of give me your guys' take on here. We're going to go straight into this, and we'll have a nice conversation on what's going on here. But series finale, some deaths, some not so deaths, some tears, a lot of tears, and a lot of theories and speculations here. I'm going to go down the line. And guys, just kind of give me your guys' take. Series finale. Where'd you watch it? How'd you feel about it? Let's go. OMI-Juan. Rogue One. Sorry.
Let's go. Yeah. So I was excited because I had bought tickets to go see it in a movie theater. So it was really cool being able to kind of like experience the finale in a theater full of fans, right? Because you knew the only folks that were there were like hardcore fans. So just being able to share that experience with a group full of people, and having that big sound system, that big old screen. I mean, it was just an amazing experience. So I was really stoked. Plus, I had my family with me. So I had my mom with me. I had my little one with me. I had my niece, and her boyfriend was there. And so it was just being able to just share all that with them as well was just epic. So it was perfect, man. It was a great way to end not only the season 5, but the series in general, and then being able to share it with everybody like that was amazing. So
how was it in the theater? Kind of give me your reaction to other people's reaction, because we kind of know that there was a lot of fake outs. Like I want to say, like in the first half an hour, we had like maybe 10 fake outs right here, sure. with Steve being one of them. But like, did everyone gasp like us? Did everyone kind of like?
I'm telling you right now, that 5 seconds of blackness, like that whole theater was just like, and like we were all just like, no way, and then all of a sudden, you see the hand, and it's just like, whoa. So that was really cool to just kind of like have that moment, like that'll forever be a moment that I'll appreciate and love that they kind of gave us that moment.
Yeah, specifically Jonathan's hand too, right? So it
Right.
was kind of like some symbolism right there, right? Being like, we didn't like each other, we had rivalry all this time, but now we're bros. And by the way, I saved your life, right? So,
Totally. Yeah, no,
um,
it was great. Yeah. And then just like I said, being able to really experience it like that on the big screen, big comfy seat, big sound system. So it was awesome.
yeah. Slider, what about you? Kind of give us your initial take when you first watched it. Where were you? Did you have the surround sound pumped up? What was your first feel about it when you first watched it?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be the odd man out here. So, I was at my house. Yeah, I had the sound system up and, watching on the big screen. Um, Honestly, I have two separate feelings about the finale. The first half, I really did not like it. Just to be honest, like I just felt it like built up to so much more, and it like kind of just didn't live up to what I thought the Duffers were trying to do, and just yeah. So the second half, I thought that was really good. I actually like enjoyed that more than the fight scene and everything. So yeah, I mean we can get into it, but I'm like kind of like split. Like the first half, I didn't like it. And the second half, I definitely enjoyed that more. And I thought it came back to what Stranger Things was in the first season and into the second season. So, yeah, that's kind of my first take.
Got you. We're gonna go over the biggest bro next, and I want to know what your take is. Now, bro, I know you watched it in a theater as well. Give us your take. How'd you feel about it, and did it get you in the feels?
Man, just there's three different parts that I remember just like in the Steve pause was definitely one. Just that collective like holding your breath, like oh, like in my head, I knew that he was safe. Like it, but like still, like when you're with other people, it kind of gets you like, oh, maybe, another one is when 11 jumps and does her Thor jump and jumps into the thing, and you just everybody's going, yeah, as he rips back the down from the little vine and stuff like that. I was like, all right, yeah, it's on. And then the last part where they're putting up the books, man, and like, you're looking around the theater and everybody's, in their head, they're putting up their books too. It's like, dang, like this is our character. These are our guys, and now their chapter closes, and now we wait for a new story. So yeah, it was really cool. I had to watch it again. The battle, the battle for me, it was cool that part. I just was like, all right, where's the minions, man? Where's the other, like, where's the Dippin' Dogs? Like, where's the other things? Like the bats, where the bats? You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's after I came back home and I watched it again, I was like, okay, I get it. But yeah, I'm with Slider. The epilogue for me, it kind of that was the best part of the episode for me. It was just the how they ended it and how they gave pretty much every character a nice sign off. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and to kind of like answer your question, they kind of mention why there wasn't minions because they say it right when they get up to Planet X. Like, where is we thought we were going to battle all these creatures, right? But because 11 was able to like take out Henry in the Mindscape, that kind of took out all his armies, which I think was a big cop out in my opinion, because the Duffers made Vecna sound like he was going to be the biggest badass out there, and they took tropes from like Vader and Terminator and all that. And I was really surprised that this battle went out really quick. I was looking at the time, I'm like, we haven't even hit an hour yet, and they're taking this guy out. Right? What do we got for this next hour? You know what I mean? I'm like, what do we have to
Yeah.
expect here? Right? So that kind of tripped me out. So we had a peacemaker moment with that. But D, since we were both together when we watched this, what was your initial feel about this? And here's some context. When I first watched the first season, I didn't watch it with D. I watched it by myself because it was one of those things where D was working at a different job at the time, so she worked at nights, and I'd be watching the baby at night. So my 2-year-old was hanging out with me when I watched this thing, and I got so hooked that even when D came home, I didn't even tell her I was watching. I was like, "Oh, I'm just watching something on Netflix," right? And I binged that whole thing that whole night, right? And then the next day, I'm like, oh my God, you got to watch this show. It's called Stranger Things. And she's like, what do you mean? Was that thing you were watching last night? I'm like, yeah, it's so good. And then I think when you watched it the second time, too, you were like, damn, this thing was good. And so, anyways, little bit of backstory there. Go ahead, D.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I mean, there were some like holes for me as well. Like why, like I'm just questioning it. I'm happy with the way stuff ended, but there were some parts where I'm like, when they got to the abyss dimension X, and they were doing a lot of walking as a group. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think they needed to show all the walking. I mean, they did some talking parts, and Nancy
It's like
gave.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly. That was my thought. Like another thing of walking. But yeah, I think they could have done less with the walking parts. Like the battle between 11 and Vecna inside. And then when Joyce came and she like finished it off, or finished him off, I felt I don't know, they could have. I'm not a creative person. I am not a producer, so I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But as a fan, I think they could have done it another way, whatever way that is. I don't know. But just I felt like Joyce didn't have like a much of a role to play in this final episode. She just was with Will most of the time, which I think maybe they were, because that's like his support system. That's his mom. She's always there for him, kind of thing. So maybe he needed her by his side to help keep him going. But I felt like they didn't use her as much as maybe they could have. So that's kind of the negative part for me. The positives was, when they're all up in the tower, and the planet is coming towards them. I'm like, holy shit! Like if I was up there on the tower, I would be scared shitless too. Like this thing is coming at me. Like you need to stop it. And I guess the antenna, the top part of it, it's like breaking. And I'm like, oh crap! They're all gonna like something's gonna happen. And when they did the whole thing with Steve, I also did the no, they can't just kill him off like right now, like so early in the show. Stop touching that. And then there was another part that I kind of like in my mind, I knew it wasn't real, but the way they played it out was like real-ish. Was when what's his face, Hopper was waiting outside the tank, and then Vecna came and he was in the mist and he started shooting, and then they show the tank that there's holes in it. He what do you call it, was able to see 11, and there was blood, and his face was like like holy shit. Like even though that was kind of like an illusion, for like to be put in Hop's shoes as like that's his daughter, and he like could have potentially just shot his own kid. It's like super devastating for a parent to like even go through. So in that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, like for real, like are they killing her off too? So that was my thoughts on that. I did like the other emotional parts, like when they were graduating, and just the whole like when they were all kind of saying goodbye in their own way, as like in their own small groups, or even like just two of them with each other, like when Mike and 11 were talking, what do you call it, when it was just them two. I don't know what do you call it when she's in
Her dreamscape.
In the dreamscape, yeah. And just when she's like, tell everyone thank you for, making me feel welcome, and becoming friends with me and accepting me. Like that scene was like, I got so emotional. There's a bunch of scenes that I got emotional, but like the graduation thing, that was really cool. And just, yeah, I mean, throughout the latter part of the episode was like hitting me in the feels. Cut it out. But overall, great, great last episode. Like I said, few holes for me, but overall, I'm happy. And yes, 11 is alive. He's not dead. He agrees.
Really quick, Hanato, because I wanted
Yeah.
there's a couple things that Dee had talked about that I wanted to touch on.
Please
So
do.
I saw about the Duffers, how they explained, the lack of anybody else in the alpha space or chaos space or whatever they want to call it, X space.
Yeah.
And initially I took it as him just being overconfident, right? Like him being overconfident in the fact that he didn't think that they would even be able to get there, so he didn't see the reason why he needed to have backup or reinforcements there, right? Like he just was really super overconfident. So that's kind of like how I took it. The other thing too that I thought was really interesting was I don't know if you guys got a chance to talk about this last week, but the structure to me reminded me of Dark Crystal. I don't know if you remember the Dark Crystal,
100%.
but the way that it looked just like the Dark Crystal. So that even that whole space looked a lot like the Dark Crystal to me. So I thought that was like super interesting and kind of like a callback, because if you notice in a lot of the movie posters throughout the series kind of hinted at callbacks, right? And I believe in Mike's room was the Dark Crystal poster. So that was really interesting, that whole thing, the way it looked, reminded me a lot of the Dark Crystal.
It's a carbon copy, OMI-Juan.
Totally. Yeah, like totally. So that's like I kind of like, I dig those little things because much like you, I'm a 80s baby, right? So I grew up in the 80s. So like this series for me was it kind of really resonated in the sense that I was seeing my childhood through these kids, and a lot of the stuff that they were doing were things that I was doing at their age. So it was really kind of cool for me to kind of see and experience that. So I just, that was kind of my thing as far as the lack of, real battles when it came to them getting to that space. So.
And I love you bringing that up about the nostalgia and it bringing you back to your youth, because that's exactly what the show did for me. And what this show did for the entire world is it made the 80s look cool again. Like nostalgia is back. And if you don't believe it, go look at Walmart, go look at Target, from Pogs to freaking, like, look at our daughter. She's like wearing baggy pants. Like, come on, are we in the 70s? No. But you know what? It's back. So like, that's the one thing I love about his Metabeast. We got you back, my friend.
Yeah,
let's get
maybe.
your take.
I don't know for how long.
Well, you're here now. Let's get your take on the series finale. How'd you like it?
I was happier with it than I was expecting. I know we talked about before coming on about, it seemed like a whole bunch of them had their moment of, are they going to die? Are they going to die? And of course, no, they didn't. You know how that disappoints me, but not that I'm that kind of person, but I just think it adds a lot to it when you do lose somebody. And we didn't talk about it, but last time, and I wish we would have, because it's what I thought with the suitcase, the guy in the cave in the suitcase, the memory.
Yeah. The dark part.
I figured that was where the source of his power came from. So I thought that was kind of cool. Derek, right? Is that his name? The little kid?
Yeah.
Suck my fat one.
I like how I liked him that last episode probably the most. That right there, but also, I can't make it, guys. You guys go. And
who farted
behind? So I did kind of like him there, but yeah, I thought it wrapped up okay. I like and I don't like how they leave you. Well, everybody seems to think she's 11 still alive because based on that little, last few minutes and his belief and everyone's believing in his belief that she is.
AI thinks she's alive too.
Well, maybe she is, maybe she isn't. Will we ever find out for sure?
I think so.
Probably.
Here's the reason why I think so. They didn't kill anybody, and you know why? That Netflix money, as Big Bro said. You know what?
Yep.
Return to Hawkins, return to Stranger Things reunion. It's gonna happen. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, maybe in 5 years. They didn't kill off any of the main cast for a
No.
reason, guys, so they can bring them back. So,
But I don't know.
so, but this is why I want to talk with you, because you were able to binge watch this within like a month or two. We had to wait 10 years, so we have a different.
I thought I did that. That would have, you know.
But I mean, like, we have a different connection to these characters than you do, right? Because we had to wait so long, and we had to really guess to see what happened. Like some of the seasons, Metabeast, we had to wait 4 years, 3 to 4 years to watch it.
That's
So
just nuts.
we have a different connection to the characters. But like, I wanted to see your take because you got to binge watch this whole thing, and binge watching it, you can resonate and fall in love with the characters versus watching them for 10 years is a little bit different, I think. So,
well, let me first say, if that had happened for me, just like Games of Thrones, I probably would have never continued watching, because I didn't watch the last season of Game of Thrones, and I'm not disappointed from what I hear that I didn't. But that probably would have soured it for me, or I just would have lost interest, and had plenty of time to forget about them. But because my memory goes quick, but I think I'm trying to think, who do I like best? I liked Will a lot. In some aspects, kind of reminded me of me growing up a little bit, and seeing him become as strong as he did, I liked that. What else? Not Holly. What's the Mike's sister's name?
Nancy.
The older sister.
Or Holly. Yeah,
Nancy.
Rambo. Oh,
Yeah.
Rambo.
Yeah, didn't she look like Rambo?
Lady Rambo.
Ramba. She was too much.
She was over the top.
Yeah. I liked it. I kind of liked it, especially when she.
Didn't it remind you of a John Carpenter movie? A little over the top.
Yep, I suppose so. There's the aspect of the gate in there too. If I don't know if any of you guys remember that.
I saw
movie,
the gate. You're 100%.
That was one of
right.
my favorite horror movies of all time.
Yep.
But I loved it when she gave her brother
The flares.
Gave him the flare
She
gun.
gave him a gun. He asked for a gun. He wasn't
He did.
specific
He got a flare
on the
gun,
type of
which
gun.
he put to good use towards at the end too. So, the biggest thing I'm kind of disappointed about is there's no closure with the military, and she said backups coming. There was not the scientist, what's his name from
Owens.
Yeah, from Mad About You guy.
Yeah.
He didn't
Paul
show,
Reiser.
because I think we talked about that. We thought maybe he would show up again. I think they say they answered all the questions. I don't know that they did.
They did.
They quietly went to Guantanamo Bay for 12 months, and then they got out. It's all
Vacation,
good. Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Because Nancy did kill a lot of military. She did murder people.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't Dr. K take those kids anyway that were under Vecna's wing, regardless, and do experiments on them, right?
Yeah, I would be surprised if she. Well, I guess
Yeah.
she didn't. But what happened to her? I mean,
That we
there's
don't-
no way she just gave up. I'm sure.
The only thing we're told is that the military is going under the guise that there was a big earthquake and that's what killed everybody, right? That's it.
All right, just one question.
There wasn't. Quake.
Why
Yeah,
did
Cole.
Vecna? Why wasn't Vecna afraid of the military when the kids beat him? Like the military would have washed him, right? Like
He fucking annihilated the military that second or
All right.
third episode to the end.
Well, his
Well, I mean,
dog
look
did.
at 11. 11 took him out. You know, I mean, like that. It's that hedgehog thing
Mm.
that probably would have taken Vecna out, right? So
Well, her and Will helped.
that's true.
Well, true, true.
Yeah. Is that it on your take, Metabeast?
I guess. I mean,
Okay.
am I disappointing?
No, because
Like I said,
go ahead.
I was happier with it than I thought I was probably going to be.
Well, that's good because I know you, Metabeast. If you're not happy with something, you're gonna tell us. So that's good. But now it's my turn, guys. So I hope you guys are ready because I like to talk a lot. I don't know what show you guys watched, but I loved it all. I loved the whole kit and caboodle from start to finish. I didn't care about the nonsensical because this is an 80s type of nostalgic type of TV show / film. All the 80s movies are nonsensical. All of them don't make no sense. You know, some of them is like really way out there. So I kind of just resonated with what they were like building on. I felt like tropes of Dark Crystal, John Carpenter. I seen The Gate. Absolutely. There's all these little things, but I enjoyed it from start to finish because in the end, I walked into this finale without the high expectations that I guess a lot of people were walking into, like the deaths and everything. And what really made me walk in this finale that way was the penultimate episode. It really let me down. So that episode really kind of conditioned me to be like, okay, my expectations has got to come down because I don't know what the hell they're going to do next, right? Like they just had that one, they took 5 minutes of that scene and, you know, we didn't know that was going to do that. So we didn't know what was going to go with this series finale. I mean, within like 45 minutes, they kill Vecna, right? And I gotta admit, like, where is that? There's a picture of that freaking spider thing, right? Like, this thing was also nonsensical. It did not look like the Mind Flayer, but you know what? I went with it because it just looked fucking cool. I mean, this thing just kind of like scurrying around, 11 doing the whole Thor thing, like you said, and like going into the stomach, them fighting with inside the Mind Flayer, I thought was pretty badass. Again, nonsensical. You got like Jonathan with a blowtorch. I didn't even know he had a blowtorch. You know, Nancy, who looks like a female version of Rambo. That was kind of nonsensical. And then also like Steve and Dustin underneath the belly of the beast. I wouldn't go under the belly of the beast poking them.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
You know, like,
I loved how Robin was like, "Bro, you smell, bro." Like, you...
it's like, but like that alone, it's like, you know, they could have gotten guns, and Dustin's like, "No, we got to use our spears and our trash can thing," right? So that was nonsensical, but that whole thing, I dug. You know, I was telling D like, "Oh my god, what am I watching here? This is insane." You know, it's a big ass spider looking thing that's like eating up rocks and almost gonna take out Nancy, but. To me, it worked. It all worked. And what I really did like, and I know a lot of people didn't like the scene with Joyce, right? Where she was hacking up. It's like they thought it was taking so long. The way I looked at it is Joyce has been through so much shit with Vecna. Took her boy, right? Took her boyfriend. Almost took Hopper. And did all these crazy things. Took all these other kids and like took so much from her, right? Took her house from her and everything. And then just to kind of see that flashback. And that's the reason why they went so long, is they wanted to get you emotionally with the flashback, right? And
I said, hell yeah, you go, girl.
Yeah. So I dug that little montage and everything. And then at the very end with Murray and also you got what is that? Murray and Hopper at the top, and they fire up the Prince music and they're ready to blow the thing up and they're riding back, right? And the very last scene, specifically, I guess we'll call it part 1, right? Where they defeat Vecna and they all head back and they're literally here. This is the part now where the Upside Down is ready to collapse and 11 is sacrificing herself. There's a lot going on here. And kind of right from the start when I was watching this, I told myself, why the hell is her nose not bleeding? That's the first thing that I said. Why is her nose not bleeding? Because there's no way she can be communicating with him. How did she get to the gate while all the freaking hedgehogs were pointed at them when they came out of that gate, right? There's no way she could have done that, right? So there's a lot of unanswered questions right here, and I think it was made that way in this scene to do that. Like everything from here on out was purposely done, to put us in our feels and to make us think this and that, but also assume that she's still alive, kind of a thing, right? But also give you that emotional impact. Like that was such a cool montage between her and Mike when they first met. You hear that Purple Rain song in the background, and then when they finally kiss and she says goodbye, you feel that jolt. He gets pushed back. You feel the jolt with him, right, when he's getting pushed back. And then this scene right here is just heartbreaking. It's heart-wrenching to me anyway, for a person that loved the show for 10 years, and to see this happen, you hear all that noise, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's closed, it's quiet, and you see I guess it's the library. And then you cut to this scene right here. Everything after the scene where 11 supposedly dies, to me, is very, very impactful and emotional, because it's the actors saying goodbye to their characters as well as saying goodbye to the actual actors themselves. It's the final scene between Hopper and Mike. And I remember watching this. They did a documentary in this scene, and like these two teared the fuck up right after this scene. Like everybody on this show, I think they all had a final scene with people, and they had the hardest time doing it. I enjoyed the graduation. I thought this was so well done. I love that he was able to do an homage to Eddie. I love that Karen shows her scars on this. I'm surprised she can fucking talk, guys. I can't believe she can still talk. This right here, this scene up here on the roof, this scene was all ad-lib. Them crying is real. Joe Keery has never cried before on any set until the final scene right here. And him saying, man, I don't want to do this. Let's do something about it. That's them really in real life saying this kind of stuff, right? So like, this was an emotional scene to me. And then finally, the last scene right here where they're in the basement and they're doing their last campaign. I thought it mirrored the first episode. It was supposed to. They talk about the mage. They talk about her. They talk about, everything that we talk about. And I'll also go through the theories that the AI kind of gave me as well. And I went through 5 AIs. They're all kind of the same. I thought this was cool. Everyone still believes, even Millie Bobby Brown, which kind of tells you something right there. And, I like to think this is what's happening, in 1992 instead. So I really enjoyed this, guys. And this last scene right here was so impactful. I just watched it last night, and this time I used headphones. I did once with surround sound, once without surround sound. That was the worst experience, by the way. And then once with the headphones on. Watching this last scene, and it is assumed that this is their scripts that they're putting away for the last time. This was so impactful. They walk up the stairs. You see them crying. It's them in real life actually crying. That's their final scene of their show. They're having a hard time even getting through the scene. And you see Holly and the kids run down. And that was also so cool to see a mirror image of the new generation taking the mantle. And maybe there's stuff that will happen with them. We don't know. And then you see Mike up there. He smiles and he shuts the door. And that's it. This is the final scene right there. And I still have goosebumps till this day. And it's done, you guys. I enjoyed it. I loved it so much. I watched it 3 times. It's not every day we get a series that was like a cultural phenomenon, and they're able to end it on a high note and a good note. And the only reason why I didn't kill anybody is because they would piss everyone off. I mean, they're pissing people off by not killing people, right? But the percentage of people that they're pissing off for not killing anyone, it's minor compared to the people they would piss off, because people love these characters so much. We're looking at this show from the lens of us growing up in the 80s and our age. This show is a global generational show for everyone that started watching this when they were 12 to us now in our 40s and 30s, right? So they had to do it in a way that satisfied everyone. Everyone that I'm reading on the internet mostly loved this finale because everyone survived, and it keeps the door open that maybe these characters come back. And that's the whole reason why you don't kill anyone, in case you want to bring them back, merchandise, cartoons. I mean, guys, it's not over because they're freaking got a cartoon coming now.
That's right.
This year, by the way, year, and also the unanswered questions about The Rock and the military is all going to be answered in the new series, which I'm assuming is going to be in the same universe, but different characters, different feels. So the military will return. And I also heard that Paul Reiser will be in this 85 series. So because it takes place within the years that his character was introduced.
Yeah, it's in between episode or season 2 and 3.
2 and 3, and seasons 1 and 2 were my favorites. So I'm looking forward to this. This is just basically them giving us something to cope with because Stranger Things is done. But guys, for me, I truly enjoyed it. I'm probably going to watch it a fourth time. That's kind of my take. I took a very long time just kind of talking about this.
It's all about Netflix money, baby. It's all about Netflix money. If you didn't get your answers answered this time, it's coming. In a spinoff, in a sequel, in something. You're gonna get what happened with the military. Oh, you're gonna get that spinoff, buddy. Netflix is coming for that too. That's it. Yes. That's all it is. So yeah, just be happy. You got what you got. Yeah, Netflix money.
And it's not done. It ain't done.
I wanted Kay to get hers.
You know what I find interesting too is like the way that they ended it. They ended it so that way everybody gets what they want in a way, right? Because like if you wanted somebody to die, then you can see this show as 11 dying. If you wanted it to be that way, you can see it that way. If you wanted it to be that she didn't die, then you can see it that way too. So that's where I find it funny, all the backlash, right? Because like what are you complaining for? Because it's choose your own adventure, right? Like if you wanted it to be that somebody died, exactly, then that's exactly how it died, right? So it is really interesting. Really quick though, because there's one of the other things that I wanted to talk about that I thought was really cool was the fact that they brought back that axe, right? Because that was her axe from the season 1, right? When she was tearing down her house, right? Yeah. And like the fact that she brought that axe back to actually deal the death blow, I thought was perfect. So
yes. Damn, OMI-Juan, you pay attention.
No, I've loved this show from the start. When I get into a show, like I get totally into it. Like I watch it several times. I'm watching all the recap videos and the explainer videos, and like I totally get into the lore and all those little like these little details, even like the details with Hop, right? And the fact that that whole scene started out with him seeing the Agent Orange cans, right? And that was something that he had talked about in Russia, right? How he feels guilty to this day, or to in the sense of Stranger Things, that was the reason why his daughter ended up dying of cancer, was because of him being dealing with that while he was in the military. So it was just all those little kind of like details and callbacks to stuff that they had brought up in some of the previous seasons was really cool. So I mean I love it. I'm with you. I totally loved it. I loved that they left it to where, like you said, it's however ending you wanted it to be, then that's exactly how it is. So
I love that you brought up the mention of choose your own adventure, because that really brings back season 2 when they're in the arcade and they're playing that for the first time, right? And like I didn't catch that until you kind of explained that, and you're absolutely right. This has really been a choose your adventure type of show since the get-go, if you think about it, right? But to end it on this note, and I get it, you know what I mean? Some people really wanted to have that emotional impact. Let's give it a good example. Welcome to Derry. If you guys watch that, kids die in that show, by the way. I won't say who dies, but kids die in that show right away. You know what I mean? They don't mind to axe any kid off, and they're the same age, if not younger, than these kids, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think the Duffers suffered from what I think I've suffered from as a creative. And I know that OMI-Juan, you can probably resonate with this, or all of you guys who create, right? When you create characters, right? Because like 11 was supposed to die, Hopper was supposed to die, Steve was supposed to die. When you create characters that not only the audience and fans fall in love with, but you start falling in love with as well, you have a hard time killing them off. You might want to try to sunset them off in a different way. So I really think they fell in love with their characters so much that they couldn't do it. They really couldn't do it. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, they gave us what we really wanted. For most of us anyway, we wanted a happy ending. And in reality, though, you can look at it in another stark contrast. Did we really get the happy ending? I mean, are we really, did the Mind Flayer really die? You know what I mean? Like, we can always look at it like that, right? Choose your own adventure, right? Like, because in reality, What if this whole time Vecna has put the shroud over all of us, thinking that we have defeated him, but in reality, he's still alive, right? Now, they didn't really allude to that. There was no Easter eggs to that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that can't happen. That is in the realm of his power, right? So it really is a choose your adventure, how you want this to end for you type of finale. But I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to end it because
it was
Go ahead,
all a game of D&D. That's all.
that's exact, and that's another thing. You're absolutely right. They put at the very end, they put the manual, right? They established that Mike is the storyteller. You're 100% right. It could be just a story. It could be just all D&D. Really, it's perception, right?
Did you see Hanano in that shot where they show the handbook, right? And off to the side, you see the little dice, right?
Yeah,
and it was
it's
a
on
7.
Yeah,
And that was the dice roll that Will threw in the first episode, right?
yes.
Remember when he tells him, he's like, because eventually he tells Mike it was a 7, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really cool that they added that on there.
Yeah, that was good. But and that's what I mean, right? Like, we are kind of diehards when it comes to this show that will recognize these things and remember it. And this show, guys, is going to be like Star Wars for kids. Like, this is going to be their Star Wars, their Goonies. This is my daughter's Goonies, right? Like, this is all my daughter can talk about right now. You know what she's doing? She's watching season 1 because she's coping.
Nice.
Because what else are you going to do, right? Well, after you're done with the first season, the last season, you're going to go back to the first one, right? And what I love about this show, at least for me, being 10 years in, they're all rewatchable. There is a shitty season, you know what I mean? Depending on which one is shitty to you. But, like, there's also the good seasons, right? But even the shitty season is rewatchable. This all is rewatchable because of how the content was made. So, but guys, I kind of want your guys' take now on what you didn't like overall. We kind of did like the overall about your consensus. What did not work in this finale? Metabes.
I thought some people should die, but I would also love somebody coming and doing a complete twist of why they don't, where the other side wins.
I know what you mean by that. So, like,
I understand I'm not doing that for this, but I want to see that someday.
So, have you guys ever seen the TV series 12 Monkeys?
Oh yes.
You have. Okay, so you have, right? What about you, Slider? Have you seen it?
I watched like the first season of it, I think.
Okay, so without spoiling it too much, OMI-Juan, the series finale of 12 Monkeys, kind of alludes to what Metabeast is saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like, do you really think that the good side won, or do you really think that the bad side won, right? Did the good side lose? So in the series finales of 12 Monkeys, which, by the way, is another good series finale where they wrap shit up and they do some really nonsensical, crazy things in there to where you're happy about it. And they even bring people back from the dead, which I love. Time travel. But they end it in a way where they make you think that everyone's happy and everyone's good, but in reality, are they? And so that's what you're looking for right there. With this one, because maybe you don't have time travel and all that stuff to play with, you can't do that kind of stuff, but I get it right there. If somebody were supposed to die, who should have died, Metabeast?
I think it's Mike or Justin.
Really? You mean Dustin?
Dustin, yeah.
Mike or Dustin? Why them two?
I think that would have had a big effect. Either that or the mom.
I think for Dustin, it would have been cool because then they could have still had that emotional impact when 11 supposedly passed away.
And they would have died a hero regardless. That's the thing, too.
True.
If they had died, they would have died a hero.
Okay. Now, OMI-Juan, I know you're pretty good at paying attention to things. What didn't work?
I will say that the lack of closure when it came to the military, I thought didn't work for me. In the sense that it wasn't like they didn't have time, right? Because they certainly had time to do a whole epilogue, right? So like if you know, and it didn't need to be a lot, but I think it would have it would have been nice to have some sort of closure to like what like why every like you just go from like the military being there to them just being gone, right? Like so something would have been nice to have for that. I will also say that I understand why Hopper survived, but I always thought in my mind anyways that Hopper wasn't going to make it this series, right? So like that was if I were to pick somebody to die, I would have picked Hopper to die, only for the sacrificial element of him, being wanting to sacrifice himself for his daughter, in his mind. But that I think those are the two things that like if I wanted to nitpick, it would be the military thing. I think that they could have done a little better. They could have put a little bit better bow on that. And then as far as choosing somebody to die, then I think it would.
Well, I'm sorry, they should have left out the hype, the expectation that but backup's coming. Who's the fucking backup that they? I'm just saying.
It was the people at the gate waiting for them to come back, right? That was the backup.
Yeah.
Slider. Now I know this has been a interesting one for you. What is something that you can kind of at least zero in on that really did not work?
Okay, yeah, for the first half, I just want to go back a little bit because, like, I started watching this in like 2016, the year my daughter was born, and I remember watching it like the first 2 episodes, and kind of like you, my wife was at work, I was watching it, and then she came back and was like, "Oh, what's this?" Because she kind of like is into the same kind of like dark, strange mystery kind of thing, and I remember like we watched it like all the way through, over the years and stuff. So I think my biggest thing is like more disappointed. Like I'm completely on the other side with this, at least from the first one, from the first half to the second half. Like I want to split them up because I think they're very different. And the first half, I think first of all, what didn't work is that they should have never included the play in the thing because, it left so many questions and making it canon kind of just it opened up a whole bunch of things, and the other thing is like the Duffers have to keep coming back and explaining more and more things, which kind of leads me to my next point is I think that they really sacrificed the storytelling in parts for the money of Netflix, for the spin-offs and different stuff. And they even kind of alluded to it saying like, well, you'll find out about The Rock and why that impacted him in the new spin-off we're working on. Right. So that's kind of the thing where it's like the first season for me, what was great. It was the nostalgia. It was the character driven, like emotional drama and mystery and just kids trying to find their friend, and that kind of stuff. And it's changed
It was
way.
contained.
Yeah, and even the second season was good, and I like the third, and the fourth. I mean, I like most of them, but it has changed. So I get what people are saying about like it's an 80s flick where it's the Goonies and that kind of stuff, but it really isn't anymore. Like it was. I'll give it to you. It was back then, right? But the Goonies were trying to save their house from foreclosure, finding pirate treasure, right? That was the kind of kids movie that was like, and this changed to the point where like 11 is literally having a guy off himself with his own gun, right? Like, so the stakes are real. Like there's death, like people are dying on the other side. So that's my whole thing is where it's like I can't buy into it where it's like if this is going to be how they're going to do it, where like there's a cosmic threat, like literally they're crashing worlds together and nobody dies. Like, and not that I want somebody to die, but like you can say that 11 did, but that's like a Sopranos ending to me, where it's like, did he die? Did he not die? Kind of, you kind of like leave it open. And like the stakes they wanted here were like big stakes. Like they're not kids anymore, like they've grown up. Like in the real world, there are stakes, especially like when you're fighting this kind of a threat. So, I mean, that's for the first part. Because and even they built it up and the fight was only like 5 minutes long. Like in where were the Demogorgons? Where were the bats? I know the Duffers tried to explain it and say, well, they were surprised. But to me, that's like in Star Trek when they beam on the ship for the Borg there were Borg on that ship still. Like, right, Picard got taken. Like, the Borg just didn't disappear. You know, it's a hive mind. Like, the thing you would think is that, like, they're going to protect the hive at all costs. And that's their world. So, you know, that's what I'm saying is that, like, I could have let a lot of it go just from, like, a creative point. But I remember in college, my creative writer teacher told me one thing. It always stuck with me, is that if you have a great story and a great finale, the audience will forgive a lot of plot holes. But if you don't, then they're gonna critique those things. So I mean, and that kind of like this series, just like Game of Thrones, that kind of like rings true. And I think that's why some people, you know, like me, have an issue with it. You know, it's because we put in a lot of time, right? Like it was part of our lives, and it just was disappointing for me. Now, like I said, the second half, I think they really brought it home. They really got back to that character driven, like, you know, emotional part. I think they tied it up very well. I think, you know, they did a great job at the ending with the, you know, D&D and then playing and putting the books in and that whole end scene and then passing the torch to the sister. That whole thing was great. I love that, you know, like that was good, you know, but it was just that first part that I just can't, look, I've watched it 3 times now. So I still after 3 times, like I just finished it like an hour before we started. I still can't get on board with it.
No, I get it, man. I get it. And you know what's interesting about what you just said here, real quick, OMI-Juan, is if you look at like Avengers Endgame, right? They killed Black Widow. You know what I mean? And so like, and that was for the emotional stakes, right? And also to move the plot along. So I get that. And I'm sorry that was your experience. I mean, that's like for me being a fan, just like you and also OMI-Juan right here, it's like that's something that, you know, we don't want to see is like a fellow fan not enjoy the way that these characters that we grew up with, we enjoyed, we resonated with, and we cared about ended in a way in terms of at least for the first act, right? So sorry that's your experience. And I get it. You know what I mean? Like they did throw a lot of this for the money. That's the only reason why people didn't die. They're going to bring them back in spin-offs. You know, the fact that 11 is still out there. She's alive, by the way, guys. I'm sorry to say she is still alive. They're going to bring her back.
Yeah, I think so.
And this is all for the later thing, right? Like it's kind of like if you watch It, right? And It Returns, right? I feel like we're going to have an It Returns for Stranger Things. So.
You know, it's funny, Hannah, you said the money, right? And Slider, to your point, I think them saying that the Duffers explaining it that they didn't think that they would get there sounds a lot better than we blew our budget on a big spider and we didn't have enough money to create a bunch of them, right? You know what I mean? So like, let's be honest, right? Like they kind of had to pick and choose, you know, where they're going to spend their money, you know, and so I think that was their way of explaining that we just didn't have the budget to add all those extra Demogorgons and all that other stuff in the end, right? So, but yeah, no, I completely get you, Slider. I mean, it sucks when you feel like the story, they sacrifice the story a little bit just because of, you know, whatever reasons, we'll call it financial or whatever, but.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, the Duffers are good writers too. I think that's what really kind of gets me is like I don't think, like Kanano said, I think some of these plot holes are purposeful. You know, like I think they're leaving some of them open so they can come back with a spin-off or a reunion in 10 years and kind of like, you know, fit into those holes that we think are holes, like the cave, you know, and kind of like move the story on from there. But, you know, it's just that I think they went big for the blockbuster and the CGI and all that kind of stuff. And I thought that looked good. I mean, that was great. Like, that was awesome. But it just got me because it was like the first season for me was just like, it was a really great character study in like how to like have a drama with mystery and then that nostalgic 80s feel, you know, because I grew up in that time too. And it's like they really captured that, you know, and you know, I think they did good through the whole series, you know, even up into this part, you know, like, so I'm not taking anything away from that. It's just, I think they just went too much for the blockbuster, you know, feel and got away from that original, you know, and there was glimpses of it. And like I said, the second half, I feel like they went back to that and that really worked, you know, with me. And I think most people, because when I hear people criticize too on the different shows, I've watched every single review you can think of on YouTube over the past weekend. And, the biggest criticisms are the first part. The second part is pretty much almost everybody, likes it. There's very little, to criticize there because it was really well written, and that gave everybody the kind of closure, and they wrapped everything up great. So yeah, I mean, overall, I still think Stranger Things is an awesome series, but it's just that this just kind of it's just more disappointing for me.
Got you, man. D, what did you not like?
Well, I kind of already said, I think when we started the show, like the things I didn't really like. Yeah. But I do like your takes on all those that you said, Slider, and I appreciate you saying that. Yes, I don't really have much to like add, because I'll probably be repeating myself. Besides like the little holes, the plot holes that I had spoken about earlier. So I'm gonna go opposite and say one thing that I did like about a character was Holly, when she kind of like took charge, after Max and Kali and 11 disappeared after Hop shot up the tank and then pulled 11 out. They all disappeared, and Holly was basically left to like lead the group of kids. And I think she did a phenomenal job being, she was like so frightened before, but I think her adventure with Max, when they were trying to get away and stuff from Vecna, and then finding the what do you call it, the escape route in the cave. I think that helped her build up her confidence, and so her being able to like lead the kids to safety and into the cave, and even to like be the one, when Vecna was able to come inside the entrance of the cave, like she told them like, wait here for me, kind of thing. So she like ventured out, because I would be scared shitless if I was, I don't know, how old is she, like 10?
Yeah.
Or whatever, however old she is, I would be scared to like go after this guy who is, this monster dude, and confront him, even though he's like weakened when he comes into the cave, he still could potentially like, end her. But she made it a point to be the one to go and, see what's happening around the corner, come back and, tell the kids we got to escape through. And it was good that she went on that adventure with Max, because now she knows there is a way out, and then she led the kids to safety. So I just got to give a big, props to Holly, because she got a lot of courage and like, came into the character that I think she was meant to be. And she's a really good leader, and it just goes to show a lot of the Wheeler kids are pretty badass if you think about it. I mean, all the kids are, but that family alone, with Mike and Nancy, who's Rambo Dudette, and Holly being the youngest sibling, it just goes to show like the amount of time we've been watching these kids grow into themselves and finding confidence in themselves. And so I appreciated that. So that's something I want to share. That's totally opposite of what you asked for,
D, are you like removing the banner? I keep putting the spoiler banner up and someone keeps taking it away.
Oh no, I'm not touching anything.
Oh, it won't stay on the screen. It's so strange.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think.
Oh no, it's Vecna.
Really quick, talking about Vecna in that cave, right? I thought it was really cool that the fact that he said it was his choice, right? Because like I know that there was a lot of theories out there that he was just being controlled by the mind flayer, and that he was more of a puppet than somebody that was actually like a big bad. But the fact that he told Will that no, I wanted this, right? Like I chose this. Like I didn't, I'm not being manipulated. I chose this. I think that was kind of cool that they made him have that moment where he wasn't saved. Per se,
he wasn't
right?
redeemable.
Like, he wasn't redeemed, right? He chose this, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I like that part too. You know, a scene that really stuck out to me, D, they're coming for you, is um the Hawkins lab, right? Where the helicopter shows up, the reinforcements show up, and they got the uh what do they call that? The hedgehog, right? And they're pointing at the building, and you see the two girls fall, and Hopper, obviously, he saves 11 first, and they go into the one little goo room that Jonathan and Nancy was in, and she literally tells him, "Where the hell's my sister?" Right? And he goes back to go get her. He saves her and everything, and they both get caught. And that whole sequence with Murray up above, freaking throwing the bomb and blowing up that helicopter and that big explosion.
That was a cool scene.
It was
Murray.
super cool. What I didn't like about that scene, I'm explaining, and I'm going to explain the first half because we're going to break them up in two. This is a scene that I liked, but something I didn't like. I liked that scene. I loved everything about it. What I didn't like was how long it took for that freaking military guy to shoot Callie. It's like that it took like almost 10 minutes. You know what I mean? It felt that long. I'm like,
it's slow motion, Hinano, but it's really like 2 seconds.
But she got shot anyway, right? So it's really meaningless. And so that's the whole point right there. That made no sense to me, but I get why they shot her, right? They had to shoot her to make us all think that she was gone, so she wasn't part of the whole farce of her death. But I really enjoyed that scene. I loved it at the very end where, you know, and again, Slider makes a really good point. This show was very contained, and now it's really open to where now 11 can literally kill a bunch of military guys, right? So if there's death, there's a lot of military guys that really kick the bucket. And then that one dude and the one guy who I didn't realize plays Dr. Brenner in the play. He's actually Dr. Brenner. So it was really cool that they used people from the play. I do agree with you, Slider. I can't stand that they incorporated something that not the whole entire world watched. And so either we need to Google that or they need to explain that in a different way. I didn't like that they incorporated that, but that's what they did. Now, okay, once again, that was one of my favorite scenes. There's a lot of favorite scenes in the first half. Now, the second half, my favorite scene and this will always be my favorite scene, was that last scene where they're all in that basement right here. I love the whole thing. I love the storytelling. I love them bummed out, right? Like if you guys play D&D, you know, if you're like at a stalemate campaign, you're like, shit, you know, you spend all those hours and nothing's gonna happen, right? Or you know, like you're gonna kick the bucket, you're not gonna make it, right? And
my favorite was how Max was so upset. Max was
it's like kicking shit around.
Stupid, right?
Yeah.
You know? It's so perfect to her personality, right? But then at the end, right, you hear that music, wait, you know, and then they all have that one thing, the mage, and then you hear all the music, and you see Mike, and he's playing it around, and then at the end, you see that stark contrast, right? Between, where is it? It's somewhere. See, I really need to know where I put these. This scene right here, it mimicked the beginning and the end right here. It's such beauty. It was so beautifully well done. I loved how he explained his theory about 11 and how he got to that. And let me explain that really quick, really fast on the theories right here for everyone else in the room that may not know what's going on here. So the theory is basically the Callie illusion, right? Despite 11 apparent sacrifices to destroy the Upside Down Bridge, the fandom is convinced she's alive. And here's the theories as to Mike's story. Callie's illusion. This is the most popular theory, that 11 did not die in the explosion. Instead, Callie devised a plan to fake her death. And 11, we saw sacrificing herself, was just basically an illusion from Callie. Callie was still alive. And, you know, some of the evidence is the finger glitch and the nosebleeds. Another theory is the Iceland theory right here, where you know, you see the final shots, she's over there, and it's actually an actual place, and Mike knows about this. And then also the speaker distortion right there, where he hears like that noise and associates it with the void and all that stuff. So there's a lot, and also there's a D&D theory as well with the mage, right? So there's all these theories that she's still alive, and I love the final scene where they're trying to figure this out right here, and it's very emotional. You see them crying about it because they love the character so much. They love 11 so much. She was very impactful for them. And then you see the final thing where you see this door and they put these books away. This scene hit me so much. I mean, I wasn't like Slider where I just watched an hour and a half ago, but I watched it last night before I went to bed, and this scene had me gutted. I was gutted. just because of the music, because I remember when I first watched the first series, I remember where we started, where we're ending. And it's so beautiful that Max is in this scene, right? Because she wasn't in the first season, right? And so to have her end here and they walk up these doors, you see Holly guys run down. It's all of them, the people that got captured, right? You see Derek there as well. He's part of the new crew. This was so beautiful to see this end this way for me specifically. So those were the two scenes that I really enjoyed. We're at an hour mark, guys. This is kind of like just open discussion. Anything you want to bring in, your favorite scenes, and you know, the future of what's to come. We'll go with you, Meta Beast. Give me your final thoughts, favorite scenes, and what you think might come.
And don't forget to unmute.
You're still muted.
You're still muted.
I can't unmute him. He has to unmute himself.
Dumbass. I can't think of anything. I pretty sure I told myself our last episode that I'm going to need to take notes. I should take notes, and I didn't.
It's okay.
I thought, like Slider said, I thought the big battle should have been a bit more intense, but it was fun. It was fun. It was fun with Nancy stuck in the up against her back up against the wall, and those guys come in with the flamethrowers and stuff. I thought that was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. And I will lie. That whole last ending, the ending parts with 11 in the behind the portal or on the other side, and then even just the graduation part and everything. I about bawled a lot of times.
I love to hear that.
Yeah, those are good.
I love to hear
You
that.
know, it does it to me when it's even something happy-ish. It's supposed to be happy. Things like that will just wreck me.
But that's
Same here.
cool. Like you know, because Metabeast, I honestly, because I really appreciate your opinion because you binge watch this. It's a different experience for you, right? And also, you're not afraid with giving us your opinion, right? Like, and I'm happy that Slider gave us his opinion about this, right? It shows Slider's very passionate about the show. But it's really nice to hear that you got in your feels, because if you got in your feels, then this show did a good job at putting you in your feels. So it's good.
I appreciate the severed floor as well, because you get to hear those other takes and hear like OMI-Juan talking about an axe that was in the beginning and the very end, and that you miss. You get to hear those things, and then you also get to hear the disappointments of certain things that some people felt, and the things that everybody liked. So thank you for the experience. I appreciate it, having me along.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wish I could have got in a lot sooner, but binge watching Stranger Things was a freaking blast. Definitely worth doing it. If you haven't done it, go do it.
Go do it, guys. And OMI-Juan, I am interested to hear about your favorite moments, final takes, and what you think is going to happen next.
So my favorite moment for sure is, I'm much like you, Nano, that final scene of them all at the D&D table. I think it was just so poetic that the season started with them on a D&D table and that it ended on a D&D table was perfect. For me, my favorite character throughout the whole series has always been Dustin. I've always loved Dustin as a character, and I thought it was really cool that he had that moment right after the graduation where all the quote unquote hot chicks kind of came up to him, right? And it was like that was another little callback with him and Nancy dancing, right? And Nancy telling him, one day those girls are going to be after you, you just wait, right? So like those little things right there were like really cool for me, because it was just like a perfect little bookend to the series in general. The one thing that I thought was really, I don't know if they did it intentional. I mean, to Slider's point, the Duffers are a really good writers, so I wouldn't put it past them. But going back to that first scene, right? And Mrs. Wheeler calling up Mike, and Mike's like, "I spent 10 hours on this, or we spent 10 hours playing this, right?" So if you add up all the hours in season 5, it's about 10 hours, right? So it's just kind of funny, those little like kind of things that like. I mean, maybe I'm looking way too into it, but it's just, like it's that whole, this is a D&D campaign, right? So the fact that season 5 was 10, about 10 hours. And he said in that very first campaign that it took him 10 hours to play that campaign was kind of cool for me. And then, but as far as seasons go, I mean, I will say that personally, as much as I enjoyed season 5, it wasn't my favorite. But season 4 it will always be my favorite season. I thought season 1 was the best. I've always, I love season 1. As far as my favorite goes, it's definitely season 4. But all in all, I've enjoyed the ride. I've enjoyed the last 9+ years. I've enjoyed seeing these kids grow and just the progression of the characters in general. And like I said, just me really kind of always loving the Dustin character and seeing his growth throughout the whole series was awesome. So yeah, that's kind of like my closing thoughts.
You said
I had a friend like Dustin too, so I understand why Dustin resonates so well with a lot of people. It's like you always have a Dustin in your group. Go ahead, Medbees.
I've never forgave him for his pet, for hiding that pet.
A dart.
Yep, I thought Steve was gonna get it too because of it. I was gonna be pissed.
Oh, with his nougat, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm happy that you told me about your. I'm gonna go back to you real quick, OMI-Juan. You told me what your favorite season was. By any chance, could you let us know what made season 4 so special to you?
For me, I just I think that the pacing and the storytelling in general was, I think season 4 as a whole was my favorite. My favorite scene is still definitely the scene with Max and her, the whole scene with her and Vecna.
So
like
good.
To me, that is like my favorite like Stranger Things scene. I think that epitomizes like what Stranger Things was and is, and just like that was like peak for me, that whole scene right there. So
yeah, season 4, because like as a creative, and I know you can resonate with this, OMI-Juan, is like that is my favorite technical season, because they do so much transition, so much big storytelling, so much epic scenes. From like the lakes to when you transition from the guys. You remember that scene where the kids are riding a bike in Hawkins, and then it transitions to the upside down with the rest. And that season 4 felt like a movie. It was so long, and they had so much cool things drawn out from the time the helicopters go to Owen's house and all that stuff till they meet in the diner. There was so much these things. But I just wanted to know what made that specific season so special. Medbeast, I want to ask you that question before we go to Slider. Which was your favorite season?
One definitely, and thinking on it, I think I have to agree. 4 was pretty damn good. 2 was so. 3 was like they're doing this again, but 3 did get me used to it and ready for more of it for season 4. So I kind of agree with that. 4 was pretty good.
Nice. Slider.
Now see, also keep in mind, it all blends together for me because I was trying to get this shit done. So, I don't have a distinct marker as to when one season ended and the next started, because I went right into the next one.
You didn't have enough time to have this kind of like bake for you. Yeah, I get it.
So, but yeah.
All right. Slider, favorite scene, your your overall, and what do you think is going to happen next?
Yeah, I think
Maybe the character, if you want to throw in a character too.
yeah, for me, like I said, the first half I wasn't that happy with, just personally, but the scene I think that resonated with me personally the most, that it really got me, was the scene with Hopper, and 11, when she's kind of like telling him, hey, you need to trust me, like that just that
Believe in me.
change. Yeah, believe in me, because like I had a pretty similar thing with my dad, like, when I was around that age, where it's like, you just want them to like, trust you that you're making the right decisions, and like for me, it just really hit because, my dad was also a cop, he was a detective, and, he got severely injured in the line of duty to where like he's permanently in a wheelchair now. I almost died when I was young, and I wanted to join the police force, and and then I was like, actually good, that's what I was going to do before college, was go either there or the fire department. Kind of like I settled on the fire department. I went to the academy. I ended up getting injured, in there, but it was like a conversation, where it was like that same exact kind of thing, where it was like, hey, you did it, you need to trust me, like that kind of thing. So that just really hit home for me, like, and that scene really got me, like that one. So that was a great scene, and yeah, that was, and then like I said, the end, there was definitely the very ending, which that was great. Like just how they did the cameras, putting the books in, you know, going up the stairs. That whole thing was just done really well, and yeah. So I think like Hopper's still probably like my favorite character, I would say, out of everything. And yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely going to do spin-offs, and I would like to see one with Hopper. Like, I might actually, that might be one that gets me. Like, if he goes to Montauk and everything, and that's kind of like what they called it originally before Stranger Things. So that might like get me. But yeah, so that's it.
What was your favorite season, if you don't mind us telling, and why?
Yeah, I think one still. Like I also agree 4 is really close, but yeah, 1 is just the one that really just started it, and I just think it was so different at the time, right? Because I remember having Netflix, and at that point there was there was still a lot of stuff, and you kind of flip through, and it'd be like, okay, is this worth it? Is it not? And I just remember this one being on there, and maybe it was like a week or so after it released, and I just remember finding it, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting, and then I was just hooked from the start. So yeah.
D, final take, favorite scene, favorite character, and favorite season. Go.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think season 1, once I got into the show, just to and yeah, I can't believe it's been like 10 years, and then seeing the kids literally growing up in front of our eyes until season 5. um One, I think the best scene for me that I've always remembered was um I think it was season 2, the last episode where she closes the gate. Is that when Hopper goes down with her, and he's like ready to like fight off all the
Yeah, so that's season 2. That's where we discover she's not dead, and Hopper has actually been raising her for like 6 months in the cabin.
Yeah, I like, yeah. So I guess my favorite like dynamic people are just the relationship between 11 and Hopper, where he's like he wants to be like he is very protective of 11, but and he can be overbearing at times, at least from her perspective, because she's getting older, but because he's so traumatized by what happened to his real daughter in real life, or in his life, that he has that overprotectiveness, but it comes from a really good place. And just when those two are in scenes together, and whatever music is playing in the background, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I get goosebumps, because you can see that he really loves her, and he'll do anything, even like sacrifice himself for her. And so I think one of my favorite scenes was season 2, where he goes down with her, down the elevator thing, and she's gonna close the portal, and he's there to like protect her at all costs, with his guns blazing. Um, yeah, that's my favorite, one of my favorite scenes for sure. And in
No,
this,
but like the finale, not
oh, like
season 2,
overall,
the finale.
oh,
Yeah, the finale.
in the finale, I would have to say the think the same thing as you guys, when they're in the basement playing their final campaign, as well as the older kids, like Jonathan guys, when they're up on the roof of the radio station. That totally it brought me back to Dazed and Confused, towards the end of the movie. Just that feeling of like, you love your friends and you're all going to move on to like the next chapter in your life, but at the same time you don't want that feeling to end. So it's like a bittersweet feeling, and that's what I got from this scene right here. It's just like, you don't want, oh my gosh,
Whoops.
stop. You don't, get over here. You don't want, something.
Yeah, that's what he is.
He is a little monster. Something, really good to come to a close. But only good things are gonna come out of it. So you have to kind of like let go. So for me, this scene right here with them four, and how they're gonna keep, coming back every month to meet up at Robin's uncle's weird house, or whatever it is that they planned on. And then the final scene down in the basement with the younger kids, and with the new generation coming down the stairs. So I think it was like this older group, Dustin guys' group, and then Holly's group. So it's, in a way, it's gonna continue, right? So that was well executed.
If I could add to that specific scene, to me it felt like they're making the plan, but in the back of your head, it's probably not going to last long.
Yeah.
Too, unfortunately.
This is like high school friends, or just friends that come back and visit for college, saying shit. And then, because I've said this stuff, and I'm in like my mid 40s now, and I don't hang out with any of my high school or college friends. So
yeah,
but I get it. Who's
it
your
sounds
favorite
good
character?
at the time.
D.
I would have to say probably like throughout the whole season.
Oh, sounds like he's being a little bit fussy, guys. So we'll go back for D on that. I already kind of told you guys my favorite scene, but I didn't say who my favorite character was. This specific season, I really enjoyed Hopper. I love Hopper and Eleven's relationship, and my favorite season of the entire show has been season 2 for me specifically. I love season 1, I really do, but I love the fact that season 2 really felt like the sequel to season 1. I love that we got to find out what happened to 11. I love the character dynamic between Hopper and 11. And for me, watching them grow up, father and daughter, to now father and daughter, and father letting daughter go because she's got to save the world type of thing. I really enjoyed that, like from a father-daughter dynamic, because I'm really close to my daughter. So Hopper to me was like one of my favorite characters that I really resonated with this season, even though I really like him as a whole. And another character, because I'm going to throw in two, is Steve. I really like Steve. I couldn't stand him in the first episode, first season, like everyone else. But Steve reminds me of one of my friends that I'm still friends with till this day. And he's older than me. And I was always hanging out with older kids in high school. I was like the young buck that would hang out at, like, say, the Jocks or the Motorheads or anything like that. I was 8th grade and I hang out with seniors and stuff like that. So that was normal for me. And I had a friend like Steve. Maybe not necessarily his build, a little bit more bigger, right? But like the jock that was the dick that turned into like my really good friend that I'm still friends with till this day. And so I resonated with that character. I'm so happy that he didn't die, even though I think if they did kill Steve, I would still be happy because, he's a character that was supposed to die. And he suffered from what I told you guys happened with the Duffers. They fell in love with that character so much. The whole world fell in love with that character. And if you kill him now, they're not going to make any money off that character, right? 'Cause it's all about merchandising and having these guys show up later on in like a series, right? Because again, they got spinoffs and it's going to be in the same universe. So you can't tell me our characters won't pop up in a coffee shop one day. They will. So
I think it's funny about Steve that he started off the way he did, the popular, dickish, good-looking guy. And by the end, he's kind of a dork and not as popular as he was, but you find him to be pretty damn cool for all the things he did.
Well, because he reminds me of someone that I grew up with. Like this guy Steve reminds me of somebody that I grew up with in high school. He was actually a junior and I was in 8th grade, and I became a freshman and he was a senior. And so like we're still friends with each other still this day. And he was a football player and he was a dickhead, but because he started dating my neighbor, and Dee knows who my neighbors were. I used to live next to these 3 hot girls. And so we had the jocks come over all the time, but I was the only one that had a car. Because in Hawaii, you could have your license at 15. So like all the hot girls would come with me to school. So, it worked out for me. And because of that, I got to be really good friends with this guy who was a jock who I got to understand outside of his jockism. And he really was just a cool local guy that, was a part of the hype in the crowd, right? The it crowd. But outside of the it crowd, I learned that he was a really cool guy. He was a mechanic. He's still my friend till this day, guys. Like he was at my wedding. So that's why I resonate with the character. Go ahead.
Here's a trivia question for you guys. I don't know the answer, but does anybody remember what Steve's hair regimen is?
No.
Is it Pantene Pro? No, did they have Pantene back then?
Oh, yes.
Aquanet, I believe it's one
what's
of
her
them.
name? It's what's her face? Oh, you're right.
Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Huh.
Anything else you guys?
When he told Dustin, that was.
Anything else you guys want to bring up? This is like kind of like an open discussion before we close out the stream. I think we've kind of spoken about everything already with the finale. You guys already know how I feel about it. I'm probably going to watch it a 4th time. I can't wait for more to come because we're going to have more now. They're going to just pump this out as much as they can and squeeze this lemon as much as they can. So we're going to see them again. This is how I choose to believe what happened at the very end for these two.
Yeah.
I truly do. And this by far had me in stitches. I was in tears right here. So that's how I feel about it. Go ahead.
I just got one quick question for everybody. Who do you think gave the best performance acting, just straight acting, for either the series or the last episode? I'm going to go with Henry as him, not as Vecna, as him. I think he did amazing acting wise. I think he's a great actor, so that's kind of my pick. But I'd be interested to see who you guys think. I think Holly too.
Overall, or just this season?
Yeah, overall for this season.
Okay. Meta Beast, go ahead.
Not my favorite character. I'm gonna go a toss up between Dustin or Steve, but I lean towards Dustin, I think.
Okay, he's a good actor too. Any reason why?
He had a big range, I guess. He had being upset and worried about Steve. Making the big plan, and then all the way up to the commencement speech. I don't know. I just felt he did very good with all of them, and he's not my favorite character either. So but I give it to him.
All right, Obi-Wan.
I will say, well, I don't know if I would say is the best, but I think the one that stole all the scenes was Murray. I think Murray, whatever scenes Murray was in, I think he just stole them. So I love that actor. I think that his dialogue was awesome, and him and the other teacher. I think him calling them Snookums that whole
Snookum.
time just had me like cracking up. So like that was one of the real highlights for me.
Mr. Clark. D.
I'm gonna give it to Holly because she like the different emotions that she had to like act out with being scared, um, facing a monster, unsure, and then just kind of growing, like I said earlier, into her character and just being confident. What do you call it? Like just her acting skills. I think I'm really happy we got to see this season of her just, really empowering, her abilities to be able to act out all these different things. And I'm glad she had a lot of stage time because for a young person that I believe she was in almost every, she was in every episode, right? Of season 5. So I'm gonna have to give it to Holly for this pick. Stop that.
All right. Well, I'm going to probably trip you guys up. I think it was Lucas. Honestly, I think Lucas did a really good job as an actor, as well as that, as that watching that boy grow up. From season 1, he did a phenomenal job because if you remember season 1, he was against 11 from the beginning. Yeah. And to have like the one guy out of the group be against somebody and play that part perfectly. And then throughout the season, you know what I mean? He had the love interest between Dustin and him over Max. And then the fact that they started dating in season 3 and season 4 had all that stuff. Season 4 is really when I really enjoyed that actor because at the very season finale, he's in Vecna's Henry's home. And like there's that scene where like Max can't see anymore, and he's like crying, and he's crying for his sister, like Erica, please help. He's crying for help, like, and that really was ad-lib. He ad-libbed that whole part. That wasn't part of the script. He added that in there for the emotional weight. And so to see him at the very end of this as well, he had some really great scenes in here with Max. He had some really great scenes in here with other people. My pick is Lucas.
Nice.
It's a good pick, yeah.
What about you, Slider?
Yeah, I think, like I said, he's not my favorite overall. Like I said, I think Hopper is who I resonate with. But like I said, I think I can't remember his name, but the guy who played Henry, basically, like when he played Henry, I think he's a great actor. Just his emotions and everything, like. I think he did really well, and but like I said, Holly, I think she did really good. It's like you could tell she really like wanted to like like it's her first time on screen. Really, like you could tell that she was really giving everything she had to it, and Dustin too. So I mean, I think he did good too. But yeah, I'm still going with Henry.
All right, and guys, this is it. This is the last time we're going to be reviewing. Well, this won't probably be the last time we're going to be reviewing Stranger Things because, you got this one, right? So depending if this is good or bad, we might actually start talking about this as well. And I'm going to probably just assume this is going to be good. So we're going to just come back to Hawkins again and just go back in time. So I'm looking forward to this. But this is the last time we're going to really talk about these main characters. I'm going to say for a very long time. Any last things you guys want to say? Anything at all? Any kind of final moments, anything about the show, anything about how you feel about it, how it's made you look at things differently, the nostalgia of it all, how it brought back memories. Final words for you guys, and let's get out of here. Meta Beast.
Nothing about the show. I'm just going to do my be safe, be well, be you.
There you go. Omi-Juan.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the Severed Floor. I'm looking forward to joining more often. I'm looking forward to whatever the next show is. I think me and you, Hanano, really kind of link, like we sync up with a lot of our ideas and show tastes. So yeah, looking forward to the next one.
Oh yeah, man. I'm pretty sure you and I were with a freaking notepad, like
Totally.
Slider.
Yeah, like I
It's been a
said,
fun journey, man.
yeah, no, I like I said, it's a great series overall, and everybody should watch it. You know, and like I said, the last the last the last bit that I'll say is that the Duffers, you know, they really know how to like develop characters and make you really care about them, and just be emotionally, like, you know, invested. Like I think that's what they're best at, you know. And you can tell just by how everybody's so either happy or disappointed, right? Like people don't get that way unless you are a very good writer and you have a very good story to tell. And I think they do. Like I said, I wasn't really happy with the first half, but like I said, I think they really evened it out for me with the second half. So yeah, overall, like I said, I still think it's, you know, good, even season 5. But yeah, everybody should watch it if you haven't watched it, because it is amazing. And yeah, guys, I enjoyed it, and thanks again for having me on all the time.
Yeah, no. We enjoy doing this with you guys. This is the one this is like, besides Aloha Friday, this is like one of my second favorite shows to do because I just love geeking out about this stuff. You know, I could talk about TV shows and movies all day. Like there's other shows I want to talk about, like Welcome to Daria. I just feel like we're so behind on that already because it's over.
Yeah.
But there is Fallout, guys. I guess we got to talk about what's next. I know there's Fallout, and I'm watching that right now. And there's also the new Star Trek, although I don't have high hopes. I'm gonna try, Bones. I'm gonna try.
I just gotta say the first promo for the Seventh Floor Stranger Things, fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
It's because somebody's beast is kicking ass. So, yeah,
I will say that Raven was giving some Nancy vibes in that promo. So
Yeah.
everybody had their little ray guns in there. I feel bad though. Christopher, he was just riding his bike. I need to give him something maybe on the next one. But yeah, guys, no, this has been Stranger Things. I'm gonna have D close out the show. But you know, I just really enjoyed this ride, this nostalgic ride, this 80s ride. And I like the fact that 80s is cool again. Before the show came out, nobody gave a crap about the 80s other than, like, you know, they remember the 80s. Oh, I remember the Goonies movie, and the first Batman came out for some people, right? But like, you know, to like remember a corded phone or riding your bicycle late at night, or you know, like the fact that you didn't have any cell phones. I had those I had a realistic walkie-talkie, guys. I know I have CB radios, Walkmans, cassette tapes, those little tiny boom boxes. That was my era. So a lot of that resonated with me. The Pinto, you know what I mean? The freaking Nancy station wagon, all of that. I rode in all those big tank vehicles, the Broncos and all that. Like all of that. It all hit back to me all the way to 1989 and all the references in between. I love the show so much. And I don't think they can ever do something like this again that wouldn't be a copycat or would feel the same. And shout out to Kyle Dixon and Michael Stein for coming up with the best score ever done for any show out there. A show is not as good unless it's the score itself. This show would have not have been this popular if this score didn't resonate with the 80s so much. It resonated so well done, so perfectly, from the kids theme to the Star Court theme. You guys remember the Star Court theme?
Oh yeah.
To ending it with 11's so-called death with Purple Rain. You guys, we've had some really cool tracks. You know, Every Breath You Take, you know,
Fell over Kate Bush.
Kate Bush, right? All that stuff, like, but it made 80s cool. Like all these kids, right? Like my daughter, she wouldn't give a crap about the police, but she watched Stranger Things. She watched season 2. She loves the police, right? She's gonna probably want to download Purple Rain. And me as a dad from the 80s, right there, I love that. Like my kids are gonna get brainwashed to all this because I would rather them listen to 80s music than the crap out there now. To be very quite honest. So
Amen.
I agree with you. It's definitely made a comeback. You know, my daughter all of a sudden started wanting to watch Jaws. I'm like, what? Jaws? How do you even know what that is? She's like, oh, I saw a YouTube video about it and stuff. And it's like, yeah, that looks cool. And now she watched it like 5 times. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Man,
yeah,
I
I
did
get
ride
it.
my bike. I did ride my bike. I rode my bike everywhere. I was telling my daughter how I used to walk home late at night, and not need to worry about being kidnapped because you really
Yeah.
didn't have to worry about being kidnapped in the 80s. You're not going to have some Demogorgon rip you off or anything like that. Like I had like our own forest area where you used to like walk a shortcut to get to your house. I had one of those. And I used to do that from my friend's house. So it was across the town at like 9 o'clock at night with my flashlight and a backpack, and it was scary as shit, guys. But I
Yeah.
did it because back then we did those things. We weren't afraid to do those things. So, yeah. Anyways, resonated really well with this, guys. I appreciate everyone for coming in. D, close out the show.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining. This has been really fun to bring back some great memories from back in the good old days. I know I was born in the late 80s, so I'm still considered an 80s baby-ish. But yeah, just to see like some of the stuff in the background of the scenes, like what caught my eye last time was the Cracker Jack box, and I was like, I remember those Cracker Jacks, with the little toy inside. I don't know, we had those back home.
Yeah.
And just riding bikes and having to use a payphone, memorizing everyone's numbers because you didn't have a cell phone to keep all your contacts in. So yeah, I mean, this show was really cool to have like nostalgia brought back, and I've enjoyed reviewing the show and talking about our thoughts and experiences with you guys and the rest of the team who couldn't make it today. And I'm looking forward to whatever next we talk about and watch together. And it's cool to talk about shows that we enjoy. I can talk about it with Hinano, but I mean that's all. We just have each other. So when we have this show and have other people, it's even more fun. So thank you guys for saying yes and coming on the show.
Yeah.
And spending time with us. It's been fun.
Yeah, I love geeking out with you guys. I love hearing you guys' takes. I love hearing what you didn't like. I love what you did love. I love the little references, OMI-Juan. And I love the fact that we had someone binge the whole thing and go through that experience, right? And we get to bounce these ideas off each other. I love that. And I love we can do that in this space. And shout out to the audience watching right now. If you're watching now on the live or the replay, we appreciate you guys for tuning in as well and coming on this journey with us. It's the last time we're going to be in Hawkins for a very long time, and this has been phenomenal, guys. Thank you so much. Shout out to everyone in the chats. I see you. We got Agent 415. We got one of the awesome mods from Cryptoys right here. The community manager, Poof. We got Saloni. What's up, Saloni? Good to see you. As well as Smart Buy and everyone else that came and said hi, like Kid Arcade. Appreciate you guys for coming in and hanging out. This has been the Severed Floor, you guys. Thank you so much. D, anything else before we get out of here?
No, I have some noise in the background, but thank you everybody for coming. It's been fun. Until the next time, we shall
Peace out,
see
guys.
you later.
Allah.
See ya.
Bye.
But I'm not